So initially the game started out with Bree having supernatural powers about being able to turn into a shadow. And then slowly after the technical problems involving such a mechanic started to become clear, we strayed away from it and went from a more 2D game to a more isometric styled game.
In the industry was it was I can talk all day, but I can't talk in an interview. All right, I don't know. Okay, all right.
我是 Ava， 今天呢，我邀请到了 Red Pack Team， 就是做了一个游戏，然后呢，今天让他们 interview， 所以今天我们就要来问他们一些问题。
My name is Hugh. I was the producer and animator on this project.
My name is Ryan. I was the level designer for Brie Parmesan.
My name is Max, and I was the character and UI artist in Red Pack.
Hello, 大家好. My name is Kevin. I am a 3D artist for this project.
Hello, my name is Victor. I've worked as a 3D artist and technical artist.
Okay, second question is introduce Brie Parmesan history.
Brie Parmesan Mysteries is a 3D isometric stealth game where you play as Brie Parmesan, a hardened rat detective in 1920s Chicago investigating the cat Meowfia. In this game, you must infiltrate the cat Meowfia's hideout, collect evidence, and uncover their crimes in order to bring down the evil cat criminal syndicate.
Second question is about how much people in a team.
Red Pack Games consisted of 3 artists, 1 producer, 1 designer, 1 programmer, and 3 audio collaborators. Over the course of our entire project, we used Unity, and for audio, we used Fmod.
How about art or another thing?
For the 3D side of things, we used Maya and Blender. For texturing, we use Substance Designer and Substance Painter.
The third question is, where do the ideas come from?
So for Brie Parmesan's Mystery, our game actually started at VFS's final project. During our final project, we had a bunch of group members coming with a bunch of ideas, and we just decided on which one we all wanted to do, which one we had the most time and most fun doing.
So as a team, we all sort of put in all of our ideas together, and we slowly sort of just collaborated and formed one big final idea, which turned into Brie Parmesan Mysteries. We liked the idea of the cat and rat sort of conflict. We liked the noir style, the 1920s Chicago, and we liked the humor of it all.
And on top of that, I'm actually from Chicago, so to be able to bring my city to life in my first game in the video game industry was a tremendous honor.
So the next question is about what's the difference between the initial for a game and the final product.
So initially the game started out with Bree having supernatural powers about being able to turn into a shadow. And then slowly after the technical problems involving such a mechanic started to become clear, we strayed away from it and went from a more 2D game to a more isometric styled game.
Also in the beginning, I remember we really wanted Bree to smoke and slow down time, or enter noir mode where everything would turn black and white and some very cool stuff would happen. We never managed to do that because it was just like too much of a scope probably.
So some of the reasons why we had a lot of changes from the beginning of our project to the end was sort of that school environment. We had to scope our game correctly to finish our project, but afterwards, when we're making this project to be a fully fleshed out game, we can add a lot of new ideas to really flesh out our project.
Do you have any difficulties while making the games, and how did you solve it?
Yeah, so I mean, game development, it's always challenging. There's stuff that you can't anticipate. One of the things that we ended up struggling with towards the finalizing part of the project was the UI, and while it was looking good, the functionality of it was hard to nail down, and on top of that, you know, it's one thing to make a game and it's another thing to sell a game. So we had to put a lot of time and effort into marketing towards the end of the project, which sort of divided our efforts in the polish stage. So it's very challenging to make a game and market it in a very small team.
The next project is where does the art come from?
To give a little context of where the art comes from my side in Brave Parmesan Mysteries, I first wanted to give a little bit of context, saying that I am actually the adopted child of Rat Pack Games. I took Victor's place after he got a job that was gonna help him with his life situation, which I'm not gonna get into. But yeah, he gave me an art Bible. I had to understand what we wanted to in order to take care of their baby, right? Because I really wanted to.
So the next project is how long did it take to make?
So our first version, which essentially served as our prototype, our final project in school, that took about 6 months from pre-production to final. And afterwards, when we decided to scale up the game and ended up shipping it to Steam, that production cycle took another 5 to 6 months. So in total, it took about a year to complete the project.
Long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learned a lot along the way, and we continued to improve our skills. And our game, despite the fact that it changed so much since we left school, I think it became a better version of itself.
Expanding on feedback, especially for level design, it's very important to take feedback and iterate on your designs and your levels based on that feedback, because no matter what, you're not going to get it right the first time. Because when you're designing, it's very easy to fall into like a sort of just a straight line, like a railroad track of like one way of doing things, when it could be the wrong way of designing something. And someone giving criticism can help you realize that you've been doing something wrong the entire time, and that there's entirely different ways to do things that are just better in every way.
What advice would you give to people who wants to get into gaming industry?
Yeah, just some ideas in your head or on a note paper. It doesn't even have to be on Steam, it can be on itch.io. Just getting something from paper to product.
Yeah, exactly. Just like try something in anything. If you want to start with Unity, watch some tutorials online. Just get yourself started with these things, and usually that's where most of the fun comes from. The fun comes from like learning. It's like, oh wow, like there's so many new stuff that we could do. And when you get into the actual game engine, you start putting everything together. It's like actually pretty easy to get started, and that definitely helps you big time when you're wanting to get into the industry.
For my artists out there, I would say don't forget to stretch every 30 minutes. Never forget to stretch. Stretching is very important. And keep a good posture, and also never give up on that dream that you have. I know it's hard, like getting a job right now, it's kind of hard, but just never give up. Keep being consistent, follow your dreams, get that style, find your style, and just be consistent, be disciplined, keep working on it, and you will eventually get it.
If you want to work with games, don't necessarily hold yourself back to only one position. At least when you're just exploring what you like, unless you're really into programming, you're really into 3D art, like you know what you want, don't feel bad about trying different things. I know some people that have worked with coding for 7 years that are just starting to work with 3D art, because it is like everything is accessible by the end of the day.
Definitely reach out to people. One of the biggest things that people will tell you in the game industry is that references are super important. Knowing the right people, talking to the right people. I think joining events such as Game Jam, you get to know a lot of people in the industry, in the field, getting to know them, share each other's experiences and skills, probably one of the best advice to get into the industry.
Yeah, and always look for feedback.
Always
is
look for
good.
feedback.
Be hungry for the feedback.
Yeah, always eager to learn.
I think that's sort of part of it. Like, I think that just knowing, if you go into it thinking that you know everything and you're the best at what you do, it's going to be very difficult. Even if you are the best, it's very difficult to find a job if you have that attitude. Whereas our team, I think part of the reason why we succeeded was that we acknowledged that we had our own shortcomings and we always had room to improve our work. And I think if you keep that attitude carrying forward and continue your hard work, eventually you will get to the point where you want to be working in the game industry. And it might not necessarily be, you know, your first job might not be your dream job, right? You might not be working on a AAA game.
Starting anywhere, starting somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Like there's a lot of talented people out there in every company. So I think just like getting your foot in the door is kind of the hardest part. And once you're in the door, you can show people that you're competent and talented, and the rest will kind of fall in line.
So next question. Who helps you guys publish the game?
Right, so after we finished our final project, we were approached by an instructor who was starting a small indie game company called Kibble Game Studio. And basically what this studio was, it was an incubator program to take small student projects, which ours was, a 10-minute demo, to a fully fledged game that ships on Steam, Epic Games, other platforms, to be able to give students real video game experience and a shipped product, because that's very important. And so we were lucky enough to have Kibble help to publish the game, and it was a great experience.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Scott.
Kibble.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Kibble and Scott.
好，感谢这次的 Red Pack Team 的 interview。那记得大家去那个 Steam 上面 check。然后，我是 Ava，记得订阅，喜欢不喜欢？拜拜。
Subscribe to Ava.
Yes， 大家走。
如果你也想成为下一位爆红创作者，请打开下方资讯栏连结，一起来投稿吧。